sky of fading gold. Two strangers with a story to be told. I never knew that one small moment's grace could leave forever written on my face. You walked in like a song I used to know, a melody I'd lost so long ago. We laughed until the cafe closed its door and talked of all the things worth living for. Your eyes held something warm I can't explain, like sunshine breaking softly through the rain. The weeks went by like pages turning fast. We never talked of futures, only past. You kept your bags half packed behind the door, and I pretended not to see them more. We danced around the words we couldn't say and called it living one more stolen day. I try to hold the moment still in time, pretend that what we had was yours and mine. But every road that starts must find its end, and every lover walks away again. Somewhere between hello and goodbye, we built a world beneath an open sky. Too beautiful to hold, too brief to keep. A love like ours was never meant to sleep. The morning that you left, the air was still, a quiet kind of cold against my will. You held my hand and smiled without a word, the sweetest and the saddest thing I've heard. I watched you till your silhouette was gone, and somehow found the courage to go on. Somewhere between hello and goodbye, we built a world beneath an open sky. Too beautiful to hold, too brief to keep. A love like ours was never meant to sleep. Maybe love was never meant to last forever. world beneath an open sky. Too beautiful to hold, too brief to keep. A love like ours was never meant to sleep. So here I stand, where first we said hello, watching all the things I'll never know. Between the hello and the last goodbye, you were the reason I believed in The cold Atlantic mist enters the silent room, tracing sharp lines of shadow in the deepening gloom. The parallel tracks of our once shared destiny are breaking apart by the edge of the bitter sea. We sit across the wooden table without a word to say. Our love is an angle that slowly drifted far away. You draw a quiet circle on the cold window pane, a boundary of separation in the pouring Lisbon rain. The lines upon your fragile palms tell a story of release, as the distance between our lonely hearts begins to increase. I try to find the intersection where we used to meet, before the heavy winter wind swept down the ancient street. Every corner of this old house forms a sharp and painful square, trapping the beautiful memories that we used to share. The calculus of our devotion has broken completely down, leaving me a solitary ghost inside this fading town. The tides are turning out beyond the harbor wall, as the heavy curtains of our fateful romance fall. The mathematics of my grief is so clear and unkind, erasing every golden dream that we leave behind. Oh, this is the cruel and bitter geometry of our goodbye, a sharp triangle of sorrow beneath the weeping sky. The ocean waves are measuring the endless space between the most beautiful tragedy that this world has ever seen. You pack your old leather suitcase beneath the dim yellow light, preparing for your solitary voyage into the deep night. The faded photograph on the wall is hanging so askew, a tilted reminder of the happiness that we once knew. I count the steps you take toward the heavy front door. Knowing your beautiful face will warm my life no more. This is the cruel and bitter geometry of our goodbye. A sharp triangle of sorrow beneath the weeping sky. The ocean waves are measuring the endless space between. The most beautiful tragedy that this world has ever seen. Can we ever redraw the lines that we accidentally crossed? Or is the beautiful map of our love permanently lost? The horizon is a straight edge that cuts my heart in two, bleeding away the final traces of me and you. The lighthouse on the cliff throws a cold and rotating beam, waking me up from this long and suffocating dream. A sharp triangle of sorrow beneath the weeping sky. The ocean waves are measuring the endless space between. The most beautiful tragedy that this world has ever seen. The morning ship is sailing out into the foggy blue, taking away the last horizon that belonged to you. Only the cold stone walls remember your elegant trace as the light of dawn completely erases this sacred place.
The damp air heavy with a scent of pine and stone. I walk along the harbor path completely on my own. The world is wrapped in layers of a thick and milky white, blinding the last remaining edges of the failing light. I reach my frozen fingers out to touch the heavy mist, remembering the gentle lips that I so long ago kissed. The harbor horns are wailing somewhere far out in the deep, awakening the bitter tears that I was meant to keep. A broken lighthouse skeleton is standing on the shore, a painful sign that you don't live inside my world no more. My leather boots are sinking in the cold and muddy track. With every heavy step I know that you are never coming back. The thick white wall is closing in to suffocate my mind, leaving the wreckage of our shattered lifetime far behind. I try to scream your name into the heavy morning air, but all my breathless famous words dissolve in absolute despair. Chasing your fading memories inside the heavy fog, a lonely sailor drowning in a bitter travelogue. I try to catch the silhouette that always runs away, leaving me stranded in this cold and everlasting gray. The fishermen are pulling up their heavy dripping nets, while my poor heart is gathering a lifetime of regrets. An old newspaper article is rotting on the bench, bringing a sudden wave of sorrow that I cannot quench. I watch the distant ferry boat slip quietly out of sight and pull my woolen coat against the oncoming of night. Chasing your fading memories inside the heavy fog, a lonely sailor drowning in a bitter travelogue. I try to catch the silhouette that always runs away, leaving me stranded in this cold and everlasting gray. Please stop the shifting wind before it clears the heavy air, before I face the empty dark and see you are not there. Don't let the cruel sunlight chase your phantom form away and force my broken soul to walk into the bright of day. Chasing your fading memories inside the heavy fog, a lonely sailor drowning in a bitter travelogue. I try to catch the silhouette that always runs away, leaving me stranded in this cold and everlasting gray. The moisture settles heavily upon my frozen face, erasing every single line of your departed grace. The heavy blanket of the mist has swallowed up the track. You never will come back. The embers fade inside the grate tonight. A silver mist is hanging in the air. I watch the shadows dancing in the light and see the ghost of all the things we share. A dusty frame is sitting by the clock. Beneath the glass our frozen smiles remain, before the world became a sudden shock and left us standing in the autumn rain. Your hand was tucked inside my winter coat before the final words that someone wrote. The colors fading from your summer dress, but in my mind the blue is bright and deep, a quiet testament to our distress and all the promises we couldn't keep. I traced the edge where silver turned to gray, and wonder why you had to walk away. The winter frost is biting at my skin, the heavy shadows stretching down the hall. I watch the fading world we used to win, and count the tears that never start to fall. Please stay with me until the morning break. Don't leave my fragile spirit here to ache. The concrete canyon has no heart or soul. Without your warmth I cannot be made whole. Sometimes I reach to turn the frame around, to save my eyes from looking at the past, but silence makes a heavy roaring sound and tells me beautiful things can never last. The fireplace is growing cold and white as I surrender to the lonely night. Please stay with me until the morning break. Don't leave my fragile spirit here to ache. The concrete canyon has no heart or soul. Without your warmth I cannot be made whole. If you should step into the rainy night, will it erase the remaining streak of light, or will the heavy distance just expand and scatter our promises in the sand? I am drowning in the friction of your face. Please do not vanish, leaving no single trace. Without your warmth I cannot be made whole. The yellow headlights pierce the dirty pane. The ticking comfort completely slips away, leaving no comforting or sweet design. Only your coat hanging on the line.
fog is rising from the dark and silent riverbed. I keep on chewing on the bitter words you finally said. Your footsteps echo right alongside with my own pace. But we are walking with a wide and terrifying space. The iron railings of the bridge are frozen and unkind, leaving the ghosts of all our happy summer days behind.
The city lights are blinking in the misty, distant view. I never thought that I would say goodbye so soon to you.
My wool beige scarf cannot protect me from this sudden gale.
Your profile in the yellow lamp looks sorrowful and pale.
We keep our eyes fixed straight ahead into the heavy dark,
knowing that we have lost our very last remaining spark.
The river currents roar so loud and deep underneath our feet.
This is the final painful junction where our pathways meet.
Please hold the walking pace before we reach the outer side, before we let our fragile world get swallowed by the tide.
Two lonely shadows crossing over the deserted bridge, moving away towards the darkness of the mountain ridge.
A cold farewell that neither of our bleeding hearts can mend.
Walking together through the midnight to a bitter end.
I see the traffic signals changing into bloody red,
I feel the heavy, crushing sorrow
filling up my head.
Our fingers brush against each other
For a fleeting flash,
watching our lifetime of devotion
crumble into ash. The concrete path is stretching out into a separate lane,
leaving us stranded with a lifetime
of this quiet pain.
Two lonely shadows crossing over the deserted bridge, moving away towards the darkness of the mountain ridge.
A cold farewell that neither of our bleeding hearts can mend.
Walking together through the midnight to a bitter end.
Don't take another step into the open city square.
Don't leave me drowning in this sudden blanket of despair.
Turn back and look at me for just a single heartbeat more,
before we close this heavy, dark, unyielding iron door. Shadows crossing over the deserted bridge, moving away towards the darkness of the mountain ridge.
a cold farewell that neither of our bleeding hearts can mend.
Walking together through the midnight to a bitter end.
The concrete ends and now our pathways finally divide.
I swallow up the last remaining bit of foolish pride.
The shadows separate
Under the fading midnight sky.
goodbye. morning light cuts through the fabric of the shade. I watch the golden dust scatter and slowly fade. My left hand reaches out to find familiar space, but there is nothing left inside this quiet place. The cotton sheet is smooth and terribly cold tonight, as I lie wide awake, staring at the pale gray light. Your silver ring is sitting on the bedside tray, a small forgotten thing you chose to leave away. The smell of your lavender soul is getting faint, like an old watercolor that I failed to paint. The coffee machine is dripping without any sound, while all my fragile hopes are crashing to the ground. The winter frost is carving patterns on the glass. I pray for these heavy, suffocating hours to pass. Don't let the cruel dawn erase what we used to be, in this cold room where your phantom is all I see. A pale outline on an empty pillow by my side, the ghost of a beautiful love that slowly died. I trace the hollow shape where your head used to rest, with a sharp and burning ache locked deep inside my chest. The clock on the wall keeps ticking way too loud. I feel so lost and lonely even in a crowd. Your favorite book is resting on the leather chair, but there is no one sitting, no one breathing there. I try to close my eyes to find you in my sleep, but the darkness is a promise that I cannot keep. A pale outline on an empty pillow by my side, the ghost of a beautiful love that slowly died. I trace the hollow shape where your head used to rest, with a sharp and burning ache locked deep inside my chest. Hold back the rising sun for just a minute more, before my fragile world breaks flat upon the floor. Don't let the bright day wash your final trace away, leaving me completely broken in the light of day. A pale outline on an empty pillow by my side, the ghost of a beautiful love that
sharp and burning ache locked deep inside my chest. Only the cold white linen catches my empty stare, and a heavy dark shadow of total despair. The last indentation of you has smoothed out neat. The loss is now complete. The neon sign flickers against the window pane. A heavy silence falls like the winter rain. Your leather jacket is resting on the old armchair, leaving a bitter and ghostly scent in the air. I notice the faint gray trace upon your woolen coat, a blurry sentence that we never actually wrote. The sharp aroma of a menthol burning low and slow, revealing a hidden path where I can never go. You stand by the door with your eyes fixed on the cold ground, without a single word or a comforting social sound. The clock on the mantle strikes another midnight hour. The sweet love we cultivated turned completely sour. I reach out my hand to brush the white ashes away, but you pull back your shoulder and turn from the display. A toxic habit that you promised you would finally break is now the very last and painful boundary we make. The fireplace is burning down to a quiet gray, as all our golden promises slowly drift away. I see the cold truth hidden deep inside your gaze. We are completely lost inside this suffocating haze. Oh, cigarette smoke on your collar hanging so tight, a bitter reminder of where you spent the whole night. The fading embers are telling me that we are finally through. I am left here standing without a single clue. You stepped outside into the chilly alleyway back then, to meet the shadow that you swore you'd never see again. The silver lighter still catches the dim hallway light, a small betrayal that is breaking my heart tonight. I find the matchbox hidden deep inside your denim vest. A sudden storm is waking up inside my frozen chest. Oh, cigarette smoke on your collar hanging so tight, a bitter reminder of where you spent the whole night. The fading embers are telling me that we are finally through. I am left here standing without a single clue. If the bright tomorrow never comes to our small room, will the suffocating gray cloud finally meet its doom? Can we ever clear the heavy air between us two? Or is this the absolute end of me and you? The cold wind is blowing through the open balcony door as your forgotten keys clatter sharply on the floor. so tight, a bitter reminder of where you spent the whole night. The fading embers are telling me that we are finally through. I am left here standing without a single clue. The white paper burns down to a dark and empty stain, leaving nothing but this heavy and unforgiving pain. The gray mist is slowly rising to the ceiling high as we exchange our very last and painful broken sigh. The morning sun is bleaching out the dirty floor as you take your coat and walk completely out the door. A heavy glow is falling from the sky. I do not even have the strength to cry. My bare feet step into the freezing stream as I awaken from a golden dream. The cold drops soak into my tangled hair. I spin around, but there is no one there. The street lamps cast a long and lonely shade upon the promises that we once made. I close my eyes to feel your ghostly touch, the bitter memory I love too much. My vintage dress is clinging to my skin. I do not know where to let the hurt begin. The empty sidewalk is my only stage, a tragic ending on a ruined page. You walked away without a single word, the saddest silence that I ever heard. The dark clouds gather in the velvet night and swallow every single piece of light. The cold confession of the midnight air, reminding me of why we used to care. Oh, I am dancing alone in rain tonight, where all our golden future turns so white. The bittersweet nostalgia tears my world apart, leaving the fragments of a bleeding heart. The alleyways are whispering your name. The falling water cannot wash my shame. I reach my hand out to the empty space and try to trace the shadow of your face, but only icy drops fall on my palm. A cruel winter in a fake old calm. Oh, I am dancing alone in rain tonight, where all our golden future turns so white. The bittersweet nostalgia tears my world apart, leaving the fragments of a bleeding heart. If daylight breaks the horizon with gold, I know this blurry sorrow won't grow cold. The crooked line of fate is straight and clear. second that I feel you near, the heavy storm begins to blind my eyes. Under the quiet midnight skies, the bittersweet nostalgia tears my world apart, leaving the fragments of a bleeding heart. The early shadows shift to ghostly gray as all my velvet whispers fade away. My breathing slows down with the rising sun, until the sorrow and the rain are done. The purple shade is fading into gray. The brittle stems are snapping in the vase. Another heavy winter comes to stay, leaving a dusty shadow on your face. I tied the ribbon tight around the bunch and hung it upside down against the wall. The wooden floorboards deeply sag and hunch as early evening shadows start to fall. The fragile petals crumble into dust between my static fingers as I wait. The cupboard smells of autumn's left behind, of woolen blankets kept away from light. A bitter comfort that I used to find before the world turned cold and entirely white. The scent is shifting like a distant ghost that refuses to leave the lonely room. The winter frost is crawling up the pane. The ancient fireplace is burning low. I'm left alone to swallow down the pain, with nowhere left for this sad heart to go. This dry lavender solitude is holding me tight, choking every single dream in the middle of the night. I try to breathe the fragrance from the crumbling head, but find the ghost of your promises instead. No looking back, no turning round. The perfume must die, leaving me alone beneath this dark and heavy sky. The antique clock is ticking on the shelf, counting the seconds that we threw away. I barely recognize my hollow self as crimson hues slowly turn to gray. The oil lamp is flickering out so fast, leaving the corners to the biting cold. Oh, this dried lavender solitude is holding me tight, choking every single dream in the middle of the night. I try to breathe the fragrance from the crumbling head, but find the ghost of your promises instead. No looking back, no turning round, the perfume must die, leaving me alone beneath this dark and heavy sky. If I should throw the withered stalks into the open flame, will the smoke completely erase the friction of your name? Or will the purple ashes leave a permanent dark stain and trap me forever in this suffocating pain? I am running from the silhouette that you left behind, but the underlying sorrow is all that I can find. Your promises instead. No looking back, no turning round, the perfume must die, leaving me alone beneath this dark and heavy sky. The empty vase is standing on the sill, the purple dust is scattered on the floor. The icy air is keeping everything still behind the locked and heavy wooden door. The porcelain cup is warm between my trembling hands. I watch the bitter liquid draw its dark and lonely strands. A quiet cafe hidden in the corner of the street, the exact square table where our eyes no longer meet. The morning sun is tracing patterns on the wooden floor while I sit staring blankly at the heavy hinged door. The milk is spinning slowly, making shapes inside the white, a tiny fading galaxy that loses all its light. Your last remaining sentence hangs above the ceramic rim before the blurry edges of the room begin to dim. I take a shallow breath and feel the sting behind my eyes, uncovering the painful truth beneath your soft disguise. Don't let the rising heat erase the words you used to say well. In this deserted corner where I watch you fade away, whispers left in the coffee steam that rises to the air, a phantom conversation with a ghost who isn't there. I try to breathe the fading warmth before it disappears, drowning the bitter taste of us inside my quiet tear. above the counter moves without a single care, leaving a heavy coating of total silence in the air. Your favorite brown coat is nowhere to be found today, just like the fragile promises you chose to throw away. I watch the sugar crystals slowly sink into the dark, accepting that we finally have lost our vital spark. Whispers left in the coffee steam that rises to the air, a phantom conversation with a ghost who isn't there. I try to breathe the fading warmth before it disappears, drowning the bitter taste of us inside my quiet tears. Hold back the spinning hands of time for just a second more before my fragile heart shatters completely on the floor. Don't let the rising vapor wash your final tone away, leaving me cold and stranded in the cruel light of day. Ooh, whispers left in the coffee steam that rises to the air, a phantom conversation with a ghost who isn't there. I try to breathe the fading warmth before it disappears, drowning the bitter taste of us inside my quiet tears. Only the cold dark dregs remain inside the empty cup, a heavy weight of sadness that I cannot swallow up. The last pale cloud of vapor vanishes into the sky.